Hello folks, hello friends, how are you? Joe Jacke here, continuing with our series Talking to My Teen. Talk to my teen, talk to our teen, our teenagers. The title of today's video is What are the roots of my child's change in behavior? What are the roots of my child's change in behavior? Teenagers change. Some of them change slowly, some of them change really fast. For some parents right now, as we speak, they've left their home because of issues, problem with teenagers. For some of the parents, maybe you listening to me, it could be the first time you've seen your teenager slam the door after talking to you, just shut the door slightly, or suck the teeth, and you'll be like, whoa, what's going on here? All right, so there will be changes in their behavior. Sometimes for good, and sometimes bad. Now a quick recap from our last video, My Teenager Has Changed. We started with a question. We asked, what happened to my son? Or what happened to my daughter? We discussed the fact that those changes are not overnight phenomena. They are usually gradual signs and cues that we as parents often miss. It is one thing to deal with some slight changes in our teenagers' behavior, but it is another thing, a bigger, more complicated issue when we have no idea when, where, and why those changes are happening. For example, if my son starts throwing a tantrum for having been kicked out of his school basketball team that he had always wanted to, be in, I may know a few encouraging and uplifting methods that I can use to boost his morale. But what about when parents do the best they can to keep their teenagers happy, to keep them on the right track, and suddenly starts noticing significant changes in their behavior? Issues like that can throw a parent into a panic mode. By the way, bear in mind that change in behavior does not automatically amount to juvenile delinquency. I don't want any parent to think that, okay, well, this is not for me because my daughter, my son is not delinquent. I have a great child, I have a respectful child, I have a disciplined child. Very good, thank God. But let me just tell you that you may have a respectful, disciplined young person, but that has shown changes in behavior those changes could be more serious than a simple act of delinquency. I hope you understand me, you get me well. So today I would like to invite you to stick with me as we try to find an answer to this question. What are the roots of my child's change in behavior? Before doctors try to prescribe medication or procedure that can effectively cure our illness, they must first conduct a series of diagnoses. So similarly, the problem of our youth does not have a one-size-fits-all type of solution. We must first diagnose the roots of the changes in our child's behavior. Diagnose the roots of the changes in our teenagers' behavior. It's only then we can go for a solution. We can go for a cure, look for a cure. The roots can be many. A child can be simply rebellious, but not every rebellious behavior comes from simply being a rebel. There might be underlying issues that are not detected. The child can be moody. Now, is the mood purely emotional, circumstantial? Is there a psychological aspect to it? Is there a teacher on my child's nerve? Although that teacher could be a great teacher. Is there a bully in the school or on the way to school that caused my teenager the pain that he does not want to discuss with his parents? Has the father to whom the child was attached suddenly left the home to be with someone else? Is the father in the house that seems to be nice to the child when in the presence of mom, but in reality has another face when the stepfather is alone with that child? And some of you may know exactly what I'm talking about here. Is there social economic hardship causing the child to feel inferior to his or her peers? These are some questions that should be taken into consideration as we diagnose our teenagers' changing behavior. Here is another red flag that I found very important that parents all often missed and that we must put into perspective. Who is talking to my teenager? Who's talking to my child? Who's got his ears? Who's got my son's ears? Who's got my daughter's ears? Somebody's talking to them. Is it me? Is it mom? For instance, scientific research in psychology shows that our teenagers' brain often prioritize social validation. Therefore, they are prone to be drawn to the sources of rewards, such as popular peers, popular athletes, celebrities, social media, etc. For instance, let's consider a mom who works late evening shifts. By the time she gets home at night, her child is asleep. It's in bed. Imagine dad, if there's a dad in the house, dad might be working long hours during the day. And by the time dad gets home at night, dad finds everything possible around the house to be busy with or talking to friends, but does not have a minute to connect with the child to find out what happened today. Were you late for school? Maybe what's the reason? Were you hiding in the building? Were you afraid of meeting someone else? Did your friend let you down today? I would like you to know, if you do not talk to your child, somebody else will talk to this child. But who? Maybe a cousin, maybe a neighbor who's already on the wrong track, maybe some classmates who may have no relationship with their own parents and prefer to scoop your child as their best and easy to be influenced buddy. Why? Because your child is craving for attention that he does not get from home, or he or she feels that they don't get from home, and this child becomes receptive to the wrong feeder, to the wrong person talking to them out there, and thus become vulnerable. Remember, misery loves company. Let me share this with you. I spoke to a dad recently who shared with me. He says, listen, my teenage son, my young man, he likes to stay in his room, shut the door, and he does not like to talk to his parents. He only comes out when it's time to eat and just go right back inside. What is he doing inside for long hours? Is this child only introvert, or is there some virtual obstacle between this young man and dad that prevent them from talking to each other? Remember, they will talk to somebody somewhere. I don't know your child's problem. Maybe it is one from the list that I mentioned earlier. Maybe it is something else. But I would like all parents to take some time to diagnose the roots of their child's behavior, changing behavior. Maybe you cannot do it alone, but there are professionals out there who can help. Maybe talk to your child's youth leader, to his coach, to his guidance counselor, to his teacher, to his friends. Sometimes you may learn more from those folks than your own child. And remember, the channel you are on now is called Talk to My Teen. Maybe I can refer you to someone that might be able to help. My information will be at the link at the bottom of this video, where my information can be found. So I urge you today, whatever you do, do not think that those changes are going to fix themselves. So take action today while time is on your side. And especially to my Caribbean folks, my Caribbean parents, don't feel too proud to meet your child where he is at. Too many times we set standards that are so high, and then our expectation is so high, we expect our child to elevate themselves to meet us where we are, because that's who we are, because that's our standard, because that's the way we grew up, that's the way we brought up, that's the way we were brought up, that's the way our parents. No, this cycle must be broken at this time. It is you and your children. We can't look back 2 generations past to try to replicate the same thing. So I might have been guilty of the same, phenomenon as well. But I've learned and I've made corrections. By the way, this message is not insinuating that parents are responsible for their children's problems or behaviors. It is rather a wake-up call telling you that you must act on it. We must act on it. And lastly, I strongly believe that there are people out there who might want to hear this more than you think. So they might need this information. So how about you share it with a friend, with a parent, with a coworker, and let us stay connected by simply subscribing to this channel. Talk to my team. Let's save a life. Let's talk to our teenagers. Someone will thank you one day. I guarantee.